Hi everyone, I wanted to go live today to discuss with you changes in the area of public charge as it relates to adjustment of status and how Form I-944, Declaration of Self-Sufficiency, is no longer required or is currently not required. But before I dive into all of that information, I wanted to first introduce myself. My name is Attorney Megan Pastrana, and our firm is Pastrana, the immigration firm for couples. Our entire immigration practice is dedicated to assisting couples navigate the immigration process, from marriage green cards to fiancé visas, removal of conditions, and naturalization. I'd like to invite you to join our YouTube channel and also to join our Facebook group. It's called Immigration for Couples. In both our YouTube channel and our Facebook group, Immigration for Couples, we have weekly chats and updates where you're able to ask questions to attorneys and get clarification on what's going on in the world of immigration as it relates to couples and marriage-based cases. So we'd love to have you in our group. And to jump right into public charge and what's going on, what the changes are. If you are going through the process of adjustment of status with your spouse, that is the process that takes place here in the United States, and that is the process for you to receive your green card. And so with adjustment of status, one of the requirements is that the immigrant cannot be what's called a public charge, which means you have to be self-sufficient and that you won't need government assistance. And so the way that we've always or the way that we typically or historically have shown that the immigrant will not require public assistance and can be self-sufficient is through filing something called an affidavit of support. So if you've gone through the process, if you're going through the process, you're familiar with that. And then earlier in the year, in February 24th of 2020, the Trump administration announced changes to public charge. And that included having to file additional forms, provide additional evidence, and jump through additional hoops, which this administration has been known for, has been notorious for, is the word I'm looking for, has been notorious for, is making additional hoops and things for immigrants to jump through and going through the immigration process. And so that was announced in February, and so applications required a new form to be filed with the application called the I-944, Declaration of Self-Sufficiency. And so that form requires a lot more information. Things that are included on that form are information regarding the immigrant's assets, debts, credit history, access to health insurance, whether you've had health insurance, whether you filed taxes, and so that form also required a lot of additional evidence to be submitted. The great news is that currently, because of COVID and because of a decision that happened, a decision that was made by a federal judge in New York in July of this year, just recently, that public charge form is no longer required while the coronavirus pandemic is considered a national health emergency. So because of that decision, if you go to the USCIS website, you'll actually see, if you look at the adjustment of status form, that USCIS has acknowledged that judge's decision and has acknowledged the fact that they no longer will be requiring that form while the pandemic is occurring. So what does that mean for you? If you've already filed your application and you filed that form, great. If you happen to have your interview while the coronavirus pandemic is still considered a national health crisis, you will not be subject to having to reach that higher standard and answering questions about your debts and your assets and health insurance. So it's great news. If you haven't submitted your application, now is the time to do so. It'll be one less form to fill out, less evidence that you'll have to submit. But this is temporary. So once coronavirus is no longer considered a national health emergency, no longer considered an emergency, which we all are hopeful that can be soon. But once things have gotten better in the world, and once it's no longer a national health crisis, then they will re-implement that public charge rule from February 24th, and that form I-944 will have to be filled out and all of that additional evidence submitted. So if you haven't filed yet, it would be good to get that filed as soon as possible. Also, because you'll see in other videos and in our Facebook group, we've talked about the USCIS fee increases that will be taking place in October. Some of the fees, specifically for adjustment of status, are going to almost be doubling. So now is the time to file your application. If you need any assistance with determining whether or not you're eligible, or assistance with the process of filing for adjustment of status based on your marriage, we'd love to help you. You can check out our website and schedule an appointment 24/7 with one of our attorneys at Immigration for Couples. The firm is Pastrana, the immigration firm for couples. So we look forward to seeing you in our Facebook group and having you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks so much.